Welcome to all joining us for this preview. We will be taking the preview for Kenilworth, Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. The first race is due off at 12:30 over 900 meters. And just having a chat to Graham Hawkins off air, the first two races, the unraced horses, so the bar pot and the place accumulator, going to be very, very tricky. Firstly, Graham, how are you doing?
I'm all good, thank you. Thank you, Sheldon. Trust you are as well. Yeah, it's not an easy start for the bipot with two maiden juvenile plate, the first for fillies and the second open, the first two legs of the bipot. But perhaps we can follow the informed Justin Snaith for recombination. They're favourite in both.
100% right. Just looking at the first race, which will be the opening leg of the bar pot, we have at this stage 15 runners going to the post. They're all unraced, so let's have a look at the comments and the betting. Number 11, Runaway Bomb, which is from the Justin Snaith stable, is priced up, currently 14-10. This is a daughter of Lancaster Bomber. Richard Ferree rides. And Graham, the comment from the stable is gallops have been superb, winning claims.
Well, that's very, very good to hear, and it's obviously nice that they're confident, and the pedigree speaks volumes. First crop of Lancaster Bomber out of a mare that could really run. Schiffer was very quick, daughter of Var, so certainly got the pedigree to be effective over 900 meters, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the first crop of Lancaster Bomber do perform.
Then number 6, Captivate, is the second favourite at 9-2. They'll be expecting this horse to come on leaps and bounds with the experience, perhaps to run in the money. And then the interesting runner, number 3, Miss Hannigan. This race is for Dylan Chin-Sammy, for Gareth van Zyl, the daughter of Canford Cliffs. And the comment there is very, very nice type and should be able to be involved in the finish. So the opening leg of the bar pot, I suppose we're just going to have to wait and see race time where the money comes and go with the comments.
Well, certainly as far as the first leg is concerned, you don't have that luxury for the second leg. But as far as the first leg is concerned, delay your choices in the bipod as long as possible. Follow the money, watch them go down. You mentioned Miss Hannigan from Gareth van Zyl. Of course, it's great to see so many runners first up in the juvenile races, and that's because of all of the incentives that Cape Racing have put on for the early juveniles. And Gareth van Zyl would have taken something competitive down, so you've got to watch Miss Hannigan. But yeah, I guess the best advice we can give is delay the first leg as long as possible, and follow the money and watch them go to the start.
Let's move straight on to race number 2, which will be the opening leg of the place accumulator, and I'm afraid it does not get any easier as we have a look at the slide for race number 2 and the current betting. There are two scratchings, numbers 6 and 8, so that'll make it slightly easier. Number 13, Speeding Bullet, is the current favourite at 15-10. The word from the stable is precocious type. They're expecting a huge performance, and that should be good enough to see number 13, Speeding Bullet, hopefully run a forward race on debut, Graham.
Yeah, as we know, Justin Snaith is often quite reserved with his comments, but he sounds very bullish. And again, it's a son of What a Winter, again, a very forward pedigree. And the way that Justin Snaith and Richard Ferree have been going about their business in recent weeks, you've got to respect their runners, and they want to get them up and going. So Speeding Bullet at 16-10, clearly one of the major contenders. But I also see there's another Lancaster Bomber here from Glenn Cotson's stable. He gets his 2-year-olds up and running early. Manchester Fighter out of a daughter of Western Winter. That's the second favourite in the betting. So I guess that one's got to be included as well. And then the only other runner quoted in single figures is number 11, Gimme Lightning. Now that's a stable companion to number 13, Speeding Bullet, and Grant van Niekerk has been engaged. So, in the first leg of the place accumulator, I would include the scratching and all three of those that are currently quoted in single figures.
So that's a look at the first two races where there's a number of unraced. In fact, they're all unraced horses there, so we'll have to wait and see exactly what goes down to the start well in that. As far as the bar pot and the place accumulator go, you're going to be the judge. You're going to put your numbers down. Now we can work with some form, Graham, as we go on to race number 3, which is due for 1340. It's over 1,000 meters. Number 6, Electric Fields, is the 22-10 favourite. Number 10, Future Turn, is at 33-10. And race number 3, Work Riders Maiden Plate. So it does throw a bit of a curveball, but at least we've got some form to work with.
Yeah, first two legs of the bipod, first leg of the place accumulator, unraced horses, and first leg of the pick 6, the Work Riders race. But as you say, we do have form. Look, I have no doubt, Sheldon, that the best horse in the race is number 10, Future Turn. He has his first run as a gelding. It's not in the race card. He was gelded on the 13th of October, so that's an update. He's been very consistently placed. But it's clear for everybody to see that 1,000 meters is too short for the son of Futura. That being said, he may have enough class to run into the top three here. Electric Fields is a worthy favourite, runner-up in her last two starts. You've always got to watch what Callum Dixon is riding, number 8, Rafiki. That was placed in a similar race last time out. Not in doubt, Bon Bugle. They all have chances. But there's an interesting runner, as does Night Tiger, by the way. That also has a chance. But an interesting runner for me, Sheldon, is number 3, What Now My Gal. Has moderate form, but it's interesting for me that it's its first run over 1,000 meters. All previous runs over 1,200 meters. Shows huge pace. Has always been well. Last 2 runs has led for most of the way. Could improve over this 1,000 meters. Big price, throw into trifectas and quartets.
I like the way you're thinking about number 3, What Now Margel. There's a number of horses recently that we've seen trying different trips and different equipment changes, and this could just be a nice horse to throw into those exactas and trifectas and the likes. Could be the real improver in the race, dropping down to 1,000 meters in the Work Riders event. Let's move on to race number 4, which is over the 1,600 meter trip. In race number 4, they'll do battle over 1,600 at 14:15. As you can see, the slide is currently on screen there. Having a look at the opening betting, number 10 Contiguous is 12-10, number 8 Doubling Up 7-2, number 9 Inside Story is 5-1. Numbers 8, 9 and 10, I think those are the 3 runners that you are leaning towards, Graham?
Yes, those would be the 3. I think the 2 key horses on the card, race 4, number 10, Contiguous, and race 5, I know we'll get to race 5 in a moment, number 3, Daisy Duke. Those are the 2 key runners on the card when structuring place, pick sixes, bipots, jackpots, etc. for me. And in race 4, I think Contiguous is going to be tough to beat. Runner-up in 3 or 4 starts, but the immediate dangers are number 8, Doubling Up, and number 9, Inside Story. You can expect a lot of improvement from number 9, Inside Story, but I think it's going to be hard to beat number 10, Contiguous, and for many, he will be a popular jackpot and pick six banker.
So there we have it. Graham likes number 10, Contiguous, number 9, Inside Story. We're going to ignore that last run, and number 8, Doubling Up, a horse that you have to throw into all of the equations. Moving along to race number 5. Once again, this will be 1,600 meters, due off at 14:50. And when you look at race number 5, as you heard from Graham, these are the type of races where you can throw in a few runners. But number 3, Daisy Duke, as you pointed out, if you look at some of the form lines there, this could be the business on the day, and that might be the right double, Contiguous into Daisy Duke.
Well, I think Daisy Duke must rank, for me, the best bet on the card. I know we're going to get to Charles Dickens a little later on, who's at 5-10, and I'm prepared to take him on at 5-10. But for me, Daisy Duke is possibly the best bet on the card. She's a half-sister to Russian Rock. She's coming along the right way. She's got the right draw. She doesn't meet a strong field, and that's why I say she's one of the key runners on the day for me. I'm not looking beyond number 3, Daisy Duke, for the winner. Obviously, chances. Number 4, Chelsea Garden, number 5, Royal Invitation, and the second choice in the market is number 8, Medler's Tart. Sometimes we look to beat favourites, sometimes we don't. And in this race, I'm not looking to beat the favourite. I'm going strongly with number 3, Daisy Duke.
I like your thinking about number 3, Daisy Duke, because as you mentioned, around 11-10, we obviously got the shorter price Charles Dickens at around 4 and 5-10 later on in the afternoon. But also at 11-10 in Maiden Company, I'm with you there. Number 3, Daisy Duke, banker bet, and should be one of the better bets on the card. And like you mentioned, Russian Rock, that's a horse I do fancy to run a big race later on as we move on to race number 6 over 1,600 meters. And let's start off with a horse who could show big improvement. Number 1, Adios Amigos from the Candace Bass Robinson stable. When you look at this individual's form, did win 3 runs back. The last 2 runs a little bit disappointing, Graham?
2 disappointing runs, but as you say, he can certainly bounce back. The last one was at Fairview. So, sometimes horses just don't take to Fairview, don't enjoy the travel. And previous to that, he was behind the very decent At My Command, and before that, he was very good. He's won 6 races. He's drawn in pole position, so you've got to afford number 1, Adios Amigos, some respect. He doesn't feature in my top 4 selections, but I certainly do respect him.
Number 3, Silvano's Dasher, we saw in action 46 days ago when going back-to-back with a sustained late run, has the draw and certainly the pedigree. 4-year-old lightly raced individual. Would this be your top selection?
I think you have to go with him as a top choice. He's unbeaten as a gelding. He was gelded on the 17th of September or prior to the 17th of September, but first up as a gelding, he won and then won his next 2 starts. Interesting that all 3 career victories have come at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. He's yet to win at Kenilworth, but I don't see that as a problem. It's probably as a result of other factors. I think he is the one to beat, but I'm going strongly with Contiguous and Daisy Dukes. I'm looking to overturn a couple of favourites later in the card. This is one of them. I'm going with quite a few horses here, as you will see when I give you my jackpot perms a little later on. I think that Charles Dickens' half-brother Steinbeck has got a chance. Nigella, Northern Song, Sugar Mountain, the 3-year-old, we can go all night. And then, of course, we know that Peter Muscat has a very high regard for Imalenzi Yokotatuma. He's number 10 on the card. Not the best of draws, but he's highly regarded. And he could certainly give Silvano's Dasher a run for his money. Silvano's Dasher got the pedigree, got the looks. He's a very nice looking grey. He's got the draw. He's got the informed combination of Keegan DeMille, Brett Crawford. Lots to like about Silvano's Dasher. But while I know that he has a strong claim to winning, I'm going to try and take him on.
There we go. So we move on to race number 7. And you mentioned number 6, Charles Dickens. Although he is 4 from 4, he's also the big reputation. He's really set the track alight. But you're also looking to take on this odds-on favourite?
Yeah, he was priced up around even money at one stage, and they've claimed him into 7 to 10. And now, of course, as a result of the scratching of number 1, Narina Trogon, he's shortened into 5 to 10. And I don't want to see good horses get beat. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. He's won 4 from 4, and I'm not looking to see him get beat. He's obviously winding up his racetrack preparation before going into the 2 million rand Hollywoodbets Guineas on the 17th of December. But he faces a real tough task here. Russian Rock is in the right mood. He certainly waited to finish clear of Charles Dickens. Captain of Stealth is a solid soldier. But I'm very interested in number 5, Kingdom of Heaven. I thought he's maybe more of a Derby prospect after seeing him win his maiden. But he's got a hell of a pedigree. He's by dynasty out of a half-sister to O Susanna. He's getting 9 kilograms from Charles Dickens. They've flown Muzi Yeni in to ride him to ensure there's no overweight on the 50-kilogram mark. Maybe Justin Snaith is using this race to see if he can have a go at the Guineas as well. 9 kilograms is a lot of weight, Sheldon. And we saw the other day, Make It Snappy with a very similar profile to Kingdom of Heaven, receiving tons of weights from Marina and Chancellor and just blow them away. That was over 1,800 meters. I realize over 1,400 meters weight has a lesser effect. But I think Charles Dickens is going to have to work very hard for his victory here. And I don't see any value at 5 to 10.
100% right. Number 5, Kingdom of Heaven. There was big talk for him last time out. They said he's a group horse, so they'll be looking for him to go on to bigger and better things. And as he goes through the divisions, we're going to see exactly how good he is. And then you touched on Russian Rock. Now, he's taken on the best of his generations, the son of Pomodora. He's been a bit of an enigma, but I see they've gone with a compression mask and also earmuffs on this occasion. And as you mentioned, if he decides to bring his A game, he could end up being the horse to beat.
Well, he is a former Guineas winner himself, and we know he's enigmatic. We know he's hard to ride. We know he's full of moods, and everything's got to fall into place for Russian Rock. But he's receiving 1.5 kilos from Charles Dickens. If he turns up, if Russian Rock turns up, Charles Dickens is going to know he's been in a race.
Final race on the card is race number 8. This will be bringing down the curtain at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. It's over 1,000 meters. They'll be running down the lane. Number 1, Mar Black is 11 to 2. It shows you the open nature of the race. Number 2, Cityscape 11 to 2. Then number 4, Fashion Mistress at 6 to 1, along with number 6, What a State. Where do we start off in race number 8, Graham?
The other day we went for Mr. Frosty, the biggest outsider in the field in the last race at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. We nearly got away with it. It was a good each-way value at 20 to 1. Failed by a head and a neck to get up. And I'm looking for a similar horse here. Number 12, Cholim's Delight. I don't know how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. I think back to 1,000 meters. And I think at 14 and 16 to 1 offers very good each-way value. But having said that, this race is an absolute nightmare. It's wide open, as you say. They're betting it very wide. And if you can, again, the same advice, go as wide as you can in the last leg of the pick 6, even the place accumulator. even jackpot 2 go as wide as you can. Don't take this race for granted. It's very tough. My trade play is going to be number 12, Cholum's Delight, for the Andre Nel stable. But there's so many with chances. You know, it's a nightmare.
Well, you all over the country at the moment. I'm in KwaZulu-Natal. We have not compared notes. We both like Mr. Frosty. And this is a horse I went for last time out, number 12, Cholum's Delight. And I really thought would show good improvement. Was 4.5 lengths behind Hunting Trip. And we could be spot on the button there with 52.5 kilograms. So let's hope this can be another Mr. Frosty and perhaps even go a little bit better. Number 1, Mar Black. This is a horse who's got some fair form in the bank. You'd have to throw this into all calculations?
Absolutely. Second in its penultimate start to Different Face. We saw Different Face run well the other day. And then, of course, you've got, Fashion Mistress representing Peter Muscat, lightly raced. What a State for Adam Marcus, nearly won the last race, was run out of it by Pacific Green. Baubles and Beads for Dennis Dreyer. That's going to improve a lot. So there are so many with chances. Palo Queen, number 13, comes into the race with a bit of a chance. It's wide open. And, as you say, Cholum's Delight is our fancy. I think she's going to really appreciate stepping back to 1,000 meters. Course and distance form. 7 starts for 2 wins, 1 second, 1 third. That's good enough for me, or 52.5. But clearly, with not a hell of a lot of confidence.
So there we go, number 12, Cholum's Delight. That could just be the value in the race. And a horse like number 8, Baubles and Beads. I think this is a huge player, so maybe some swingers and exactors around these two runners. Let's just have a look at the current betting, see what prices. Baubles and Beads is 12-1, and Cholum's Delight is around 14-1. So the swinger and the exactor route could be the way to go in race number 8. Now, Graham, for the bets that we have chosen, I see that you're going to give 2 jackpots. You've decided to go with 2 jackpots on the day.
Well, because of the structure of the card, I'm avoiding the bipots and the place accumulator, and I decided to go with 2 jackpots. Jackpot 1 starts, of course, with race number 4. That's races 4, 5, 6, and 7. A small perm, 72 rand. First leg numbers 8, 9, and 10. I have in the end decided to cover number 10, contiguous with 8 and 9. Second leg banker number 3, Daisy Duke, going wide in the third leg with all of numbers 2, 3, 4, 7, 9, and 10, trying to turn over Silvano's Dasher. It may not succeed. He may make it 3 in a row and remain undefeated as a gelding. And then in the last leg, the allowance plate, I'm going with numbers 1, 5, 6, and 8. Now, number 1, Narina Trogon, is a scratching, but obviously you'll get the tote favorite, which is Charles Dickens. I'm looking for either Kingdom of Heaven or Russian Rock to overturn the favorite to get a dividend. Then jackpot 2 starts in race 5. Again, I'm bankering number 3, Daisy Duke. The same horses in the second leg. I've narrowed the third leg down to just Kingdom of Heaven and Charles Dickens. Perhaps I'm going to throw in Russian Rock with me, because I need to put the whole field in the last leg, and then that'll cost 168.
Well, thanks very much, Graham. You can see the 2 jackpots, jackpot 1 on the left and jackpot 2 on the right-hand side, with the field in the last leg there, so you'll be safe if you are going through and you get the biggest roughie there. Now let's move on to my suggested bet. And like Graham, with all the unraced horses, I bypassed the bipot and the place accumulator. A pick 6, not too often I try the pick 6 because I usually go out 3 or 4 legs, so we're going to try and get 6. Let's see how we go. Numbers 6 and 8 in the opening leg. We're then going to go with numbers 5, 8, 9, and 10. By 3, 4, 5, and 8. By numbers 1, 3, 4, and 6. And as you heard from Graham, we're both going to try and take on Charles Dickens. I think Russian Rock must be a big player, so numbers 6 and 8, followed by numbers 1, 2, 5, 6, and 8. Thanks very much, Graham. It's been an absolute pleasure being on the line with you, and hopefully all the horses run to their ability.
Thanks, Sheldon. As always, a great pleasure.
Thanks very much to Graham Hawkins. Looking forward to the Hollywoodbets Kenilworth race meeting. And as you, the punter, the viewer, hopefully you found the right horses and we're giving you some useful information.